Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I am here on this random image of Pip to talk about My Little Pony Generation 5. And more specifically, I want to talk about the smartphone and the little technology and the implications really of the fact that ponies have smartphones now and what that could mean for the series, what that could mean for the movie, and overall what's going on in my brain about this little situation. I want to start this by actually looking at Generation 4, which was the previous generation, or I guess technically the current one until this one comes out. There is this image that's been going around. I've seen at least one person on Twitter say like, hey, if you're complaining about the smartphones and you know the recent image and stuff like that we got, then you obviously haven't watched Generation 4 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but they basically were saying, hey, you have no right to complain about smartphones being in Generation 5 because they were technically there in Generation 4. Now, I want to kind of debunk this a little bit. This image is real. This actually happened in the show. But the problem with this image, the problem with this specifically is we're talking about Discord, and he's been known to do things that are impossible and technically non-canonical. He's had access to technology and items and things that just technically don't exist in their universe, things that literally no one else has ever had access to or ever used or anything like that. And if we go through with the comics even, then you can really see that on a much grander scale. I mean, he even summons a whole ass TARDIS from Doctor Who, so there's that. My point with this is that because of this was a one-off gag, right? It was a one-off gag. We never seen smartphones before this. We never seen them after this. It was just something that they added to it because it was funny and it made sense for that specific scene, especially given it was Discord and wouldn't mess with, you know, the weird situation with everything else. But basically, this was a one-off gag, and it's not really fair to say, like, hey, we shouldn't be worried about smartphones in Generation 5 because they were here. But we have canon images now of an actual pony, an actual character using a smartphone, and this is Generation 5. Now, I'm not going to say that you need to be worried about them having smartphones and everything like that. I'm honestly going to try to be a little bit skeptical on this and try to be sort of in the middle about this because this could be a good thing, this could be a bad thing. We just don't know yet because we don't know what the context of this image itself is. This could indeed be a one-off gag. She could have this smartphone and use it and then it never be used ever again throughout the entire movie and throughout the entire series. We just don't know. But it is here, and it's something to mention and talk about. We can talk about this and kind of be like, hey, this is things that could happen that are going to be bad. So first thing on the list of things that could be bad about this, I'm just going to go through a little bit of a list, really. It's going to be bad if they try to be too relatable with it. If they try to do something like, oh, you know, if they actually do some kind of pony Twitter equivalent or something like that, it's going to be kind of funny. But it's going to be really cringy if they try to use a lot of lingo that, you know, kids are using these days and all kinds of, like, quote-unquote relatable memes and things like that. If they try to do that, it's going to end up coming off really cringy, and it's just not going to be good, and it's going to be really annoying to have to deal with, especially if it's something that happens multiple times throughout the movie and perhaps the series as a whole. That's kind of the main problem that I have with this, is that if it's very easy to take this phone, to take this smartphone and put it in this world and completely ruin it and completely adds too much cringe that it just completely throws off the entire movie and things like that. That's kind of the main concern that I have with this, but I'm optimistic as well. There is potential that this is a very good thing. There is potential that this is very integral to Pip's character in the sense that, according to a comment that I got recently by Everett here, I'll just show you the comment. According to this comment right here, there was an earlier leak. Now, it is a leak, so it's not, you know, we don't know if it's canon or true or not, but apparently Pip wants to become a pop singer. This works because of her cutie mark, so that makes sense. I'm willing to believe that. So her having a phone would indeed line up perfectly with her personality and her desires, and she may be the only member out of the entire cast who even has a phone, at least in the movie and things like that. Or I guess the main 6, I guess, out of them, she might be the only one with a phone. We see that phones exist in this new Equestria world. Basically, phones exist in this new world. We don't know how common they are. It could be that, you know, Pip is a princess, so she does have access to this phone as a result of her status and her power and things like that. They could also just be a tool available to anyone. And if they are, how hard are they to come by? How expensive are they? Etc., etc. Now, in their opinion, they said that, you know, it may be a Pegasus invention. And that is where I kind of wanted to talk about this in the last video about, you know, Generation 5 and this image and some of the other images and things like that we got. But the more we see, you know, scenes and images and stuff like that from the movie, the more it's looking like the Pegasus Empire is very well advanced, like much more advanced than, let's say, the Earth ponies. Like, we can see in this room, the most technologically advanced thing that's in their room specifically is, well, that lamp, probably. I mean, maybe that keyboard, if that is indeed a keyboard, but that's like the most technologically advanced thing in this room. I guess there's an alarm clock behind them, so I guess that would probably be the most technologically advanced thing in this room. But you have to keep in mind that, like, this is probably, you know, it's Sunny Star Scout here probably isn't very, you know, rich or that well with money or anything like that, so it would make sense that they probably don't have really expensive, crazy technology. But it also makes sense that Earth ponies and these other tribes and stuff like that might not have the same technological advancements as the Pegasus Empire. If we look at this image that we got recently, they're very clearly in some kind of elevator or something very similar to that, and this, it's technically not technologically advanced, but it just looks so advanced at the same time. It looks like it's from an advanced civilization, something that's been around for a while and they know what they're doing, because it's all gold, it's intricate and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not technologically advanced, but you get my point here. It's very intricate. It looks like it's a very sophisticated society that has a lot of knowledge and experience and things like that. It makes sense that maybe the Pegasus are just advanced because maybe they decided to focus more on technology than the Earth ponies or the unicorns, who presumably might have their magic, might not have their magic. Ooh, big question mark on that. But I think the Pegasus are going to be more advanced than the other tribes, and I think that's going to be one of the problems, one of the issues, one of the conflicts, I guess you could say, that's going to take place in the movie, or perhaps this series as a whole. Maybe it'll end up super advantages for them and stuff like that, but I don't really know. But my point is, I think the Pegasus are going to be much more advanced, and based on some of these pictures like this, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just Canterlot, and that Canterlot just was what the Pegasus ended up taking over. They just ended up like just staying there, and that's where they live now. Because this reminds me of Canterlot, and it reminds me of the Canterlot Castle, and obviously it probably is a castle, maybe not the Canterlot Castle, but it kind of feels like it might be Canterlot. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, especially with this image here where it seems like the base of a mountain, or the base of Canterlot where it's on that big mountain or whatever. It could be at the bottom of that, who knows. I would really love it if we got like a scene or a part of the movie or the series or something like that where they go to Canterlot and it's completely abandoned and it's destroyed, and it's sort of like the castle of the two sisters in Generation 4, except this castle now or something. That would be a really neat little thing to add there. But continuing on with their comments and their opinions and things like that, they said, sure, the tribes may be split up, which is something that I mentioned, because like the tribes are split up, so it makes sense that the Pegasus could be more advanced because they split up. But each one is likely to occupy a large area of land. Without the aid of magic, phones would be a useful invention for long-distance communication. So they're basically saying that, like, hey, look, they may be separated, but it may be like this phone only works with, you know, other Pegasus phones. It's only the infrastructure for this type of smartphone might only you know, be integrated with these Pegasus, and then if another tribe has it, then it's only integrated with them. They have their own internet, basically, is a way to describe that. And that's kind of how it is in the real world. In the real world, we have, you know, these different countries and stuff like that. They have like totally different internets and different kinds of devices and stuff like that, and it's totally different. So that's kind of probably how it would be for this. They say that they have no objection to the phone, and they think it'll be an interesting aspect of the new generation if handled correctly. Now, this if handled correctly is basically what I'm mostly concerned about. I'm concerned if they're going to handle this correctly. Are they going to handle this right? Are they going to do this good? Or are they just going to completely ruin it and make it very cringy? Is Pip going to be the cringy character? I really hope not, because I really like Pip. Their design is amazing, and they're beautiful. And I'm honestly really surprised, but I really love their wings, because in earlier leaks, I really hated their wings because it looked really weird to me. But in this image here, it just looks really good, and I love what they're doing with this character here. If this character is going to be like a pop star, or if there's going to be anything weird like that, then it kind of makes sense for them to have a smartphone, because maybe they're talking to a manager or something like that. Who knows? But I feel like what we're going to see is this character using their smartphone every now and again, perhaps to talk to their mom or something like that, because maybe they're going to leave, and then they're going to have, you know, this little thing where they're like, oh, I'm just doing a thing, don't worry, I'm okay, and they're gonna maybe use something like FaceTime or something to be like, yeah, see, I'm okay, or whatever, because I feel like what's gonna happen is I feel like Pip and maybe Zip as well, maybe not Zip, I feel like Zip might not come with them. My idea here is that these people are going to come to the kingdom, right? These people here, Sunny Star Scout and Izzy, they're going to come to the Pegasus Empire. They're going to ask for help. They're going to be like, hey, look, we need some help, because we need to do this thing. Otherwise, the world is in, you know, terrible danger. We need someone or people. We need your help, basically, is what they're going to come here for. They're going to come for help, and they're gonna get rejected by the Queen and Pip and possibly even Zip. Pip and Zip are probably both going to be there next to the Queen and King or whatever, and they're going to get denied. They're going to say, no, you know, you're not getting help, and then they're going to send them off to the dungeon, or they're going to cast them away or something like that, send them away from the Pegasus Empire. And I have a feeling that Pip is going to, like, basically run away to go help them, because this is probably something that she wanted for a long time, is something similar to what they're going to want or something like that. And then she's going to run off with them, and she's going to have her smartphone, and she's going to use it to be like, yeah, no, I'm fine, I wasn't kidnapped or anything like that, you know, because I feel like don't ever record videos directly after eating popcorn. That is now in my notes. But I feel like there's going to be like a situation where they're going to think that Pip was kidnapped, and they might use this phone to try to deter that, but it's going to end up being a bad thing of like, maybe she doesn't have a signal, or whatever she does is going to make it look like she was kidnapped, and maybe Zip is going to try to chase after them to try and help save Pip, whereas she was not actually kidnapped. So I think there's going to be a situation like that. That's not really relevant necessarily to the smartphone, but I think that's a good example of like how you can use this smartphone to an effective manner and it not be really cringy and stuff like that. I mean, maybe it is a very prized possession. Maybe it's something that's left behind when she leaves, and they think she's got kidnapped because of that, and so they go after her. And she complains about not having her phone for a little bit because obvious reasons. So there's a few ways that they can use this smartphone effectively and in a very good way, but I'm very scared of how they're going to do it, because there's so many ways that you can just absolutely ruin this movie by using this phone in a very cringy way. I just really hope they don't do something really cringy, and if they do something, have it be something similar to this scene here, where it's like a one-off gag every now and again and not much more to it. You would think, you know, a lot of TV shows have like characters with smartphones and things like that, and they don't really use them that much. So maybe they won't use them that much in Generation 5 of My Little Pony. That pretty much does it for the video. There's not really anything else I want to say about this. Hopefully we'll be okay, but that's going to do it for the video. That's all I have to say right now about the current state of my opinion about the smartphone situation. I'm sort of in the middle right now, a little bit skeptical. So if you enjoyed this video, I do hope that you did enjoy this video anyway, but if you did enjoy this video, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.